Alrighty, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is the end of December, December 19th. Probably going to be a slow week this week. Just to be expected. That doesn't mean the markets don't move. We've seen this in the past. Sometimes when nobody's paying attention, that's when things happen. Trust me. So let's get right into it. We're going to do our 4-hour sweep. Just take a quick look, our unbiased, objective look at the market, and just see what's going on. What do we expect this week? What's likely to happen? Can we catch some pips? Let's just get into it. It's Monday. I don't know what news we have. We'll take a look at that in a minute. I don't know what news we've got. Probably not a lot, but maybe some. Just a macro structural analysis real quick. Just go, how we do it. Do our 4-hour sweep. What's likely to happen over the next few candles, and where are we heading this week? Just a general macro overview. Buckcorn, who knows what's going on with this? I mean, it's dropped and gone into a consolidation. Nothing happened over the weekend. That's standard. It doesn't trade on the weekends anymore, basically. Nothing to say. I'm assuming we're going to go a little bit lower. This kind of structure is not great. This is just a range consolidation that's not amazing. You got sellers on the top, buyers on the bottom. If you think about it that way, we stay out of the middle. We only enter in the extremes of the range. If we're going to do that, my guess is that we're going to end up lower here, potentially breaking the low. This doesn't look good. Had the really good sell last week. What do you do? Assuming we're going to go lower, we'll watch 16 first, and it could potentially be some panic in the market and break the low. And again, we're looking somewhere in the mid 14s. I know people don't want to hear that. I actually think it's going to go much lower than that, but not yet. As soon as this breaks the low, people are going to try to buy it every time. It's not great. We're in the winter. The winter's a part of the cycle. Winter's here. Who knows what's going on with all the FTX stuff. I think some powerful people didn't want him to testify under oath and be questioned under oath by the Republicans, so they went and picked him up right before he was going to come testify. Whatever you want to believe there. Crypto is not in a very good spot right now, fundamentally, as far as market sentiment is concerned. But technically, it's whatever. It's down. It was a good run last week. It had a good pop back up, but it all made sense. We know what levels we're watching. There's really not much to say about it right this second. Be looking for a short here. I would rather sell the top of the range, to be honest. Top of this little range, and just look for something lower. Anyway, skip it. It's kind of not really great right now. Dollar. We're coming up on the dollar. This is looking better here. We are positioned against the dollar this morning in the group. I think would be foolish to be short here, to be entering short here. If you're already short, it's a different story. After breaking that macro swing low, let's put this into perspective and zoom out a little bit. You don't want to be short here. Not financial advice, just life advice. Yeah, you don't sell the bottom. Life advice. Don't buy the top, don't short the bottom. Be looking somewhere there first, and you got plenty of stops on the way up. This is the last point where your sellers were correct in the move and have not been stopped out. That's where your money's going to be. We've gone into a consolidation here, stepped up into a higher level consolidation. Very easy to see, very well defined range. Just say, buyers on the bottom, sellers on the top. Very simple. We stay out of the middle. Very easy. This doesn't have to be complicated. Once you start to see the markets this way, you can't unsee it. Price moves and up and down in ranges. And you have very short bursts like this that just move you down to another lower level consolidation or a higher level consolidation. But right now we're in the middle of the range, but coming off the low, I would rather be long dollar in whatever form that may be. If it's short euro dollar, most likely. Got a higher low hammer here. It's not closed yet, but we'll watch this. Interesting price action on the dollar. If you look at where it is, we're down, lower low, lower low, lower low. We've stepped up into a level 2 consolidation in our cycle. This could be a mini cycle low down here, and we got a couple runs to go up. That would make sense. Plenty of levels on the way up. I would rather be long dollar, period. Fundamental, schmundamental, long dollar. That's how I'm going to play it. So, segue into this Aussie dollar. And we were talking about some of this stuff a little bit earlier. We're going to go through some of this again for the YouTubes. Would you rather be long or short here? Coming off the top of the range. Crazy when you see the markets like this, isn't it? Can't unsee it. Rather be short off the top of the range. Structurally, we've come off of a higher high here and sold off, gone into a consolidation. It's just very likely that this is going to poke down one more run at least. Could be a range expansion starting where you have higher highs and then lower lows. I wouldn't doubt it. Definitely don't want to be long here, especially given flipping back to the dollar index for a second. The likelihood that the US dollar is going to be stronger on a weaker euro as part of it. The euro was completely blown out last week. And as that retraces, because the euro holds a 57% weighting in the dollar index, the dollar index is likely to gain. It's just very likely to gain. So what we're not going to do is go long dollar. We're looking to position against that actually and go the other way. Aussie dollar down, euro dollar down, moving into euro dollar. Epic short off the high, still in it. You can see what's going on here. Nothing really to say. I mean, just short term, you're looking at an ineffective trading range of something like this. And we definitely don't want to be long here, given what's going on with the dollar. I mean, look at it. Knowing that we're coming into a potentially stronger dollar. You don't want to be long. Euro dollar, especially. Euro dollar and the dollar index are near yin and yang, perfect inverse correlation. So if we can identify a potentially stronger dollar index, a major part of that is that euro weakness is a big part of that. So we obviously want to be short euro dollar. We're already short. We took it again this morning. I'm already in it, but we also took it again this morning. It's just not marked. Euro dollar looking somewhere down, just very simple. Doesn't have to be complicated. We'll manage it when we cut through the gap down here and get back into buyers. Where's the point where your buyers were correct in the move and have not been stopped out? Because that's where the money is. Think about it. Euro pound. Nothing here. Short, but whatever. The euro and the pound kind of doing their own thing right now. Man, there's just nothing trending. There's such a ball of mess here. It's just garbage this morning as far as relative volatility. There's not much going on. Euro pound, probably would rather be short. No trade though. I think I have a small piece on it. I'd rather be short. It's basically a euro basket. The pound is probably going to stay strong. So that's why I'd rather be short here. And hopefully the euro will weaken. Depends. I'm not a huge fan of trading euro pound. I watch it, but the euro and the pound go the same direction so often that it's just not really the best thing to trade. It's kind of like the Aussie and the Kiwi. They go the same direction so often that it's not really the best pair to trade. So, whatever. Probably short, but the price action, I could see this putting in some green candles. It makes sense. It's already down. Hopefully the euro will continue. Euro yen, really good short from the other day. Still in that too. Still in all that. We caught all this euro. We scaled into this, and then it finally dropped. So now we got a whole bunch of stuff running, especially on the other account. Waiting, probably going to see some good profits off of this. from Thursday. It was Thursday's entries when Lagarde talked up the euro too far, and now that's all coming back to haunt you. So hopefully you didn't buy the top on the euro. It's coming back down. Euro yen. I mean, you see what's going on here. It's likely going to be some kind of a range like this that hasn't fully developed. It's very simple. Once you see it, whatever, waiting lower. I think I'm still short on that. This lower position size on it. It's smaller risk, but still short. Euro CAD, very, very, very good opportunity on this, especially against the CAD. And pound CAD's kind of the same thing, and we'll talk about that. But man, what a shot on this. This one I'm definitely betting on. Still in it. I got stopped out on my bigger position, which I was mad about. I had it short here with it wasn't huge. It was a quarter lot, but given the distance that it's running, that's different, you know. I had it short here and it dropped and it was way up. It was up like $100-200. And I moved my stop to break even and it came back and tagged me at break even and immediately went back the other way. I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. So it hit me at break even and took me out on that one. On my bigger position, but I'm still in it on my other challenge account with I don't have a stop on it at all because it's so small. And I'm just managing the position. Not that I'm, advocating for that, but you guys know how I do it sometimes. Do things differently. Much smaller position sizes, but I build in a net position and I don't always put a stop on those types of trades. If I've got very small positions on it, I'm managing the position and I may have it hedged. I use hedges instead of stops sometimes, depending on what it is. EuroCAD, very good opportunity. Looking for this to hopefully fail here and continue lower. Obviously, we're going to be watching. There's a whole bunch of mess down here. We'll watch this first, and we'll see how this lines up on a range tool and stuff like that. And even on, there's going to be layered bunch of stuff going on down there. And as we get down there, we'll manage it, possibly take some off or catch some bounces or something. We'll watch it, but probably going lower, I'm assuming. We'll see if that was the high, at least for the week. Euro Aussie, I am short here still. I've got a very good position up here. I'm still quarter lot short up there. So if this ends up running down there, that's going to be 355 pips times 250 a pip. Going to be a great trade. And just scaled in a little tiny piece. See if that rejects later. I think this is going to end up consolidating and then dumping. Hopefully it'll just continue to run, but look where it is. It's on a big peak high. It's not a long, I'll tell you that. And we'll see how this plays out today. We're in a range right now. Nothing to do. I honestly wouldn't enter it right now. Euro Kiwi, messy. Same thing, consolidation. We'll see what the fate of the euro is going to be. Not sure yet what the euro is going to do, but I'm betting to the downside until that's invalidated. And we'll be probably watching down there. We're just kind of in the middle. We're in between the swing high and the swing low, like right in the middle. In a consolidation, equal body highs and lows. It's a mess. You'd probably get it right both ways depending on the time frame you're trading. No major trade there. Pound dollar looks great. Looks great. Structurally, we've dropped and gone into a consolidation. Start to see a pattern here if you've never seen it before. Drop consolidation. This is probably the high of the cycle. I would rather be short than long. And we've already talked about flipping back to the dollar, a potentially bullish dollar. So think about the relative volatility. If the dollar is going to be strong, right? We don't want to be long pound dollar because a strong dollar is going to be a headwind to pound dollar. This is going to hold this back. It's going to be pressure with a strong dollar. So that stronger dollar is going to pull this down, and the pound has already been high. Look at it. Just look at it. Would you look at that? Just look at it. If I could draw a straight line to save my life, you'd see what I'm talking about. But probably not the best place to be long. Watching it. Watching it is not the best entry necessarily right this second, but we're definitely watching for this. And there's just who knows where this is going to stop on the way down. This is starting to look good here. That big nasty drop and going into a flat consolidation like that. I'd rather be short than long, but we'll watch it. It's not the best entry right now, but definitely interesting structure wise. Definitely going to be watching pound dollar for a shift in the trend. It's just shifted off the low or off the high. Sorry. It's shifted off the high. Look, Alt I, let's flip the chart. And if this is what you saw, would you want to be short? We'll flip it, invert the chart, Alt I on TradingView, invert your chart. Looking at this, would you want to sell this right now? And that's the question. Would you feel comfortable selling this? And, that's the question right there. And the inverse of that, would you feel comfortable buying this? Look at where it is. Interesting thought experiment. Pound yen. Long, let's go, baby. Money. Nothing to say. Pound is strong. Yen is weak. Very easy. Obviously it'd be, where are your sellers? Really? Lower than that, probably be watching right there. We'll watch the bottom end of this block. I don't know where the buyers were. This is our effective trading range. Not really much to say. Looking to run this up a little bit more. Somewhere right in there, maybe. Whatever. That would be, we're already in this long this morning. Looking like it's going to be good. That's 100 pips from entry just to the traffic. This is your point where your sellers were correct and they have not been stopped out at break even yet. And when that happens, it's going to be that inflection point. So we're going to target that money right there. Pound CAD, different story. Pound yen's a yen play. Boy, is this a different story here on pound CAD. Structural range coming off of a spike high. Got a big spike high, dropped into a consolidation. You're looking for a second leg down, and it has infinity to the downside. It's just big pips. It doesn't look like it, but we're talking about a lot of pips here. That's 1,000 pips just back to there. And, this is way, way up. Way up. And it may distribute a little bit first. You may get some distribution on the high. We'll try to identify a macro range, but you don't want to be short. You don't want to be long here. It's short only. Just selling the high of the day every day until this thing eats dirt. Pound CAD, very good opportunity. Looking to sell the high of the day every day. Pound Swiss. I don't really trade this one much. It's a very, very choppy pair. It's kind of like pound yen. It can be very nasty. So I don't mess with pound yen much just because of the way the dynamic works out. I don't know why everybody trades pound yen only. That's ridiculous. It's, to me personally, like, just because under the way that it moves, the yen relative to the pound, it's not the best choice. Same thing here with pound Swiss for the same reason, for the exact same reason. There's low to negative rates. It's not the one you want to pick. Pound Swiss, probably going to be a short with the rest of it. This is not a long. I could see this being a range that hasn't fully developed yet as this, whatever. I could see this happening. We're probably near the top of it, and I would much rather be short. This kind of just forecasts, looking through the pound pairs, it kind of forecasts potential pound downside is what it looks like, other than the yen, which is pound yen's more of a yen play. But the pound itself kind of looks like some wreckage may be coming. And same with the euro. And the euro and the pound tend to run together, especially a lot lately. Pound Aussie, nothing to say here. It's in a range. I wish it would come down. I wish this would come down. Just kind of have an effective trading range here. We'll just call it something like that. We're near the top of it right now. It's probably not the best idea to be long here unless you're trading very low time frames. Still short. I wish this would come down. It's just not doing it. It's been in this range for 2 weeks, doing nothing. But we're near the top of that range, and I'd rather not be long here. It's already up, and we're at the top of a big macro range. You know, think about it this way. With something like this, what if it's just this, you know, objectively, like that kind of a range, and we're just near the top of it? You know, what if it is the top of it? You know, we've already identified potential weakness in the pound overall. What if this does this and you're buying the top? Depends on your time frame, but you're swimming against the current, most likely. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Vern? So we don't want to probably be buying up here unless you're just in and out, which is fine. Depends on your time frame, but looking for any kind of distance move with low risk, like day trading, / swing trading, you don't want to be buying up here. Again, this is more of a macro. What's going on? What's likely to happen this week? You know, that kind of thing. Not what's going on the 17-second chart. We don't trade the 17-second chart here. Nothing wrong with it. It's not what I do. Looking for low risk distance moves, consistent, low risk winning over time. You're going to have bad days. Like I had a losing week last week, actually, for the first time in a while, but not by a lot. You know, I was down a little less than 0.5%, 0.4% at the end of the week. That's not normal, but it's just trading. That's just part of it. It also wasn't a blowout. That's an acceptable risk. I took some risk and missed on a couple things and ended up going backwards. The crazy thing is that it was just stops. I just got chewed up in stops, and I ended up being right about almost all of it. It's just crazy. Like I just got stopped out so many times in the noise last week. It's a lot of news noise, and I, you know, took some shots at it and had some really good trades too. But yeah, no, I ended up lower last week, which is just part of it, and already got some trades back on, and almost, it won't be long. I'll be right back in it. Already in the green for the week. It's 7 a.m. on Monday. In the green, doing all right. Got a lot of potential too. Could get it more than, could easily get it back in a day or two. So no big deal. Pound Kiwi, keeping the risk low. Pound Kiwi, it's garbage. Nothing to say about it. I was looking at it. It's not really much to do. It's trash. Skip it. CAD yen, love it. Want more of it. Epic potential off the low of the range. Just looking for this to run up. It's very easy call. It's already in the green. Tried to catch this thing multiple times over the last couple of weeks, and just tried it again on Friday and this morning. Actually took another little entry this morning on it, and it's up. This is today's. Looking all right. There's a reason. Reason we took it there. I'd rather have it long from lower, but I don't want to miss this given what it's putting in. So there's a potential there just to make it to the top of the range. It's 135 pips to the top of the range with a potential to go higher. I'm cool with that. Low risk. Whatever. Nothing to say. It's at the bottom of a range. There's zero reason to short this. Zero. Absolutely no reason to be short here. That far down at the bottom of its range. That's a very well defined, easy to see range. You don't want to be short down here for sure. Don't sell the bottom. Next, dollar CAD. And plus the CAD. It's a play on the CAD. And maybe we'll get more into that. We've been watching that one for a couple weeks. The Canadian dollar has been down a lot, and it's probably time for it to retrace. Dollar CAD, same thing. This one may be fighting each other. It's probably not the best pair to trade right now. Again, just understanding relative volatility. We have a potential stronger dollar and a stronger Canadian dollar at the same time. That's not the thing you want to trade. We talk about the cars on the freeway analogy in the group all the time, and how we decide what to risk our capital on. And this is probably not the one. If you want to trade the dollar, you may have better luck with something like euro dollar or pound dollar. This may move a little bit, but it's going to underperform. It's very likely to underperform because the Canadian dollar is likely to gain and the US dollar is likely to gain. That's not a good combination to be messing with dollar CAD. You want them going opposite directions, not the same direction. It's going to be choppy, and small body candles with a low relative volatility situation, it'll kind of manifest as chop on the chart. You don't really want to, it's not the best thing to risk your capital on. And this is one thing that this is one what I do. It's what help people understand that. What do I trade? Because sometimes all the time, what you trade is just as important as how you trade. It's one of the three main factors. You have to identify what to risk your capital on. What do I risk my capital on? What do I trade? And you have to identify what strategy do I deploy on that instrument. And then you have to identify how much risk do I place on that strategy. There's three main factors to a trade, to a successful trade. What do I trade? How do I trade it? And how much risk? And figuring them out in that order is extremely important. And how we do that is what we do. NASDAQ. Let's go, baby. Come on. Come on, Nas. Super deep this last week. This did 2 weeks worth of movement statistically in 3 days. So it did 2 weekly candles worth of movement in 3 days. Think about that. We're way down, way pushed down. Hopefully this will pull up a little bit. Got a very good entry right on the bottom. On all three accounts, actually. Or no, two of them. I got a very good entry here, and looking for this to continue just at least a little bit more. Trying to retrace back up through that weekly candle, that super deep weekly candle from last week. It's just likely that it pulls up at least a little bit. Obviously, we're going to be watching right here. Is the obvious answer right there. We'll manage it there. But could potentially go farther than that. We'll see what happens. It may be slow because it's the holidays. S&P, same. Nothing to say. It's not great where it is, but it's also very low statistically, and that may push through there. It's possible that this pushes through that. You don't probably want to enter it right now for that reason. We're kind of entering in sellers. Probably not the best idea, but if you're already in it, looking good, there's a possibility that it pushes up just a little bit more. Dow, same thing. Already in that too. Basically, I have a basket of the indices. It's generally how I'll do it. Some will outperform others. Ooh, Cadion's going. Cadion just pushed a big bullish candle outside the opening range. Good deal. Looking good there. But anyway, back to this. I'll generally take a basket of the big three, the NASDAQ, the S&P, and the Dow. Some will outperform. There's no reason to try to guess. I'll split my risk and do it that way. VIX, not super worried about. Obvious volatility from last week. Not really much to say here. I mean, it's down. It's pretty low. It's likely that there's volatility coming. We'll watch that. Again, watching the S&P and to try to get an idea when the push is going to come. And you can bet on the VIX too to kind of offset your risk. Whatever. Don't watch it too much. But every once in a while, when it gets low and you're also at an extreme, which we're kind of at right now, we're at a big extreme down here, it's likely that there's going to be volatility. So you can trade the VIX. I don't really mess with it much, every now and then. Nothing wrong with it though. Oil. The cool thing about trading the VIX, back to that, is you don't need to know a direction on the indices. Whatever this is the volatility index for the S&P. It doesn't matter which direction it's going. It just matters that it moves, and that can be interesting with the VIX. Oil. I want to be long oil. We had a short here from the other day, killed that, absolutely destroyed this. It was a 5.41% move. I remember because we were talking about it. Took a 5.41% move, banger out of oil. It was a great trade. This is the best trade we had last week. Banger. Perfect. Absolutely perfect trade. And now I would let this kind of settle. I want to be long oil, to be honest, because of where this is. We've talked about the fundamental game theory part of it, while the United States and other oil producing nations like Saudi Arabia, even Russia, they all have a vested interest in the price of oil not being too low for too long. So, I mean, it's the easiest fundamental trade there is, really. There's a lag in refinement, so this doesn't really have a huge effect on gas prices necessarily. And that can be easily proven by looking back and, looking when oil was, whatever. Oil was $100 a barrel back in the 90s or something, and gas was, $1.50 a gallon. It's not the factor. Oil went negative. Literally went to zero like a year or two ago. I remember we were trading it. It went, futures I think went negative $23, and gas was still, $2 and something, $3 a gallon. This isn't the factor. But price per barrel matters to nations that export oil. So there's a kind of what I'm trying to say is there's an interest in oil not being too low for too long, because this is a major part of GDP for countries. And there's going to be a point where especially the Saudis are going to want this to go back up. So it feels easy and obvious to me to be long oil fundamentally. I don't really care that much about fundamentals, to be honest. I'm not a fundamental trader. That kind of news is faded and manipulated too easily. I trust technicals. And technically, you don't want to be short down here on the bottom. You're just looking for a better entry. If this for some reason were to break that little swing low right there, if for some reason this sold off down here, I'm going to back the truck up and buy it all. Back the truck up and buy it all if we break that low. Show me $70 oil on a broken low and just swing trade time. But right now, as far as even within a day trading context, I mean, a little bit lower. This could be a range that hasn't formed yet. And this is kind of what we were looking for. We were talking about this last week. We're looking for potentially something like this coming off of a spike low, going into a consolidation, and maybe it holds and steps up to a second level. That's a possibility. It's a possibility, given this inflection point right here. Can't draw a straight line with this little mouse, but I think you know what I'm talking about. There's a possibility that this is just a big macro range that hasn't fully formed. And there's a possibility, again, that we're at the bottom of this range now. So as this pulls back, your better risk is going to be to long oil, not short. Trends don't stay trends forever. And trend is your friend until it's not. Until it's not. And there's a possibility that we're entering the until it's not phase. So next, silver, it's very high, crazy, big, another high, peak high again. It just keeps breaking the high. It's dropped and gone into a potential consolidation here. It's only a short period in the story, coming off of a peak high with a very well-defined range here, kicking off. Looking at it this way, just imagine buyers and sellers on the top of a range that may not completely be formed yet. Can kind of already start to see what's going on there. So we know that we don't want to enter long here. It's just not a good entry to be long here. Whether it goes up or down on the 1 minute chart, that's not the point. That's not what we're talking about here. We're looking at macro moves. What's likely to happen over the next week, and also over the next few candles on the 4-hour chart. You know, what's likely to happen here? Do you want to be long from the top of a range that's rejected multiple times here? Probably not. Gold, probably going to be similar. Potentially a lower high here. It's already starting to reject. We never quite hit down there. We got some targets on the downside for sure. I mean, obviously, just very simply put, you know, whatever, we'll just call that our effective trading range, without having to refine this down too much. We're in a range and probably would rather be short. We're in between the swing high and the swing low, like right in the middle. It may not necessarily be the best entry, but silver may give it away, and we're definitely rejecting here. Would look at it on lower time frames, but we'll need to mess with it right now. Probably not the best entry. Gun to my head, I'm going short, but I would rather wait. I'd rather wait for a broken high, for sure. And I just wouldn't chase it long here because it's already up and rejecting. It's not a good place. It's not a good spot to trade from the middle, you know, a swing high and a swing low. If you're right in the middle of a swing high and a swing low like that, you have equal opportunity to get stopped out both ways, right? So there's no disproportionate risk versus reward. And this is one thing we talk about a lot. Disproportionate risk versus reward, where your reward is greater than your risk. When you're in the middle of a range, your reward and your risk are equal. So there's no outsized reward versus your risk. So it's not a good time to mess with it. It's just not a good time to play with it, in my opinion. I'm not talking about 1 minute chart. You know, we're talking about which way is it going. Technically, which way is it going? I think gold is probably going to be a long next year. I think it's going to end up higher. It would make sense. I think we should see what's going on with the risk asset world first, though. It's not from here. I think there's going to be some good gold trades. It's just probably don't want to be long from here. Just higher high, higher high, higher high, and sold off. Like, just whatever. It's not great. So what did we learn? Buckhorn, it's in a range, nothing to do there. The dollar, you know, the big assets, you know, what's going on? Crypto's no touchy right now, no touchy. The dollar likely to be stronger. It's already gaining. I would rather bet on upside than downside personally. Just me. Aussie dollar clearly short. You know, we talked about that. Trading everything against the dollar. They're already short Aussie dollar, short euro dollar. Everything's running, looking good, gaining, looking good today so far. The euro and the pound are iffy. They're both kind of moving the same direction. I would be looking to trade them against the dollar, pound dollar. See what I'm saying? Rejecting off the top of the range. Just already in a basket of some of this stuff. Pound yen, different story. This is a play on the yen. The yen has split directions, and I would be looking for something that's strong against the yen. Pound yen may fight against again, relative volatility matters, right? Pound yen specifically may fight against the crowd. So rather be long there, but watching it carefully. Would rather be in something that's stronger, like CAD. CAD yen is the trade. CAD yen's the one. The Canadian dollar is likely to gain. So why we're not trading dollar CAD, because the dollar and the Canadian dollar are likely to gain. CAD yen's the money move. The yen's likely to continue weaker, and the CAD's likely to continue stronger. It's a very good synergy. That matters. Again, metals, probably not messing with it long. We'll watch it and see. Not the best entry. Oil, same thing, not the best entry. So whatever. Maybe the stock market indices come up a little bit. I'd rather be long than short after that brutality from last week. Other than that, not really a whole lot going on. It is Monday. This is just a preliminary look. If I could speak English, what would I say? Again, we're just trying to get an idea on what may happen over the next few days. And as information comes in, we'll adjust our bias to that information. Everything's looking pretty good. I think CAD yen's looking the best right now. Looking for that weaker yen against something that's stronger. The CAD is the game play right now. Again, looking for the euro to come down. Euro weakness. I'm positioned on all these still from last Thursday. Euro pound, euro yen, euro Aussie, euro CAD, all of these. Everything euro down. Lagarde talked that euro up way too much. It was already high, and she talked it up higher. That's generally a bad combination. I'm not in euro kiwi, but I'm in I think euro Aussie, euro CAD, euro yen, euro pound. I think I do have a small short euro pound, but euro dollar. Mostly euro Aussie. I've got the heaviest position on euro Aussie. It's just the one that survived. I really wanted euro CAD to have. I got stopped out on my bigger position, but I'm back in this. Euro CAD's looking great right now. Yeah, looking really good there. Euro CAD, I think, has the most to gain. I wouldn't sleep on this one right here. Look at where it is. Would you look at that? So anyway, hopefully we'll have a good trading week. Too much shenanigans last week. Gonna have a good week this week though. Anyway, everybody have a good day. See you in a little bit.